Hey everybody, this is John from /bash, and today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, Choosing Beggar Logic, we are doing you a favor, so you should pay all our rent. Let's jump right in. This is a story about my sister-in-law and her useless boyfriend. My sister-in-law is my wife's sister and is a terrific person. Useless boyfriend is decidedly not. In the r/choosing beggars section, he's the gift that keeps on giving, like chlamydia. In April 2020, having lost their jobs due to COVID, they moved in with us rent-free until they get back on their feet. We're happy to have my sister-in-law. She's been absolutely terrific, pitching in around the house, spending time with the family, and being my wife's best friend. This is decidedly not true of useless boyfriend. He locks himself in their room playing video games all day long. He complains about the food, only recently agreed to chip in for higher speed internet, which he kept demanding we pay for, and otherwise makes it clear how much of an imposition it is for him to live in our home rent-free. My sister-in-law was finally able to get a job full-time last month. Their finances are still a mess, but things are improving and she said they'd move out in the spring. Honestly, we're all going to miss her. Useless boyfriend? The best I can say is I don't care if the door hits him on the way out or not, just as long as he's on the other side of it. Our oldest son is 23 and moved about 30 minutes away back in fall of 2019, so he could be close to his work. Thankfully, he's remained employed full-time despite COVID. In the fall of 2020, he renewed his lease for 1 year in a nice but small studio apartment. Recently, a fantastic job opportunity arose for our son. He's moving much further away, which is sad, but it's a great opportunity and we're happy for him. The largest problem for him is his lease, which still has 10 months to go. He spoke with his landlord, who is a good guy. The landlord said he'd be willing to let our son out of the lease ordinarily, but with COVID, he has several tenants who haven't paid rent for a while and he can't afford another apartment generating no income. He agreed that he would let our son out of the lease the moment he could rent the apartment to someone else, but the market has been really slow and he doesn't know how long that would take. I don't blame the landlord a bit, he's being fair. Looking to get out of the lease sooner, our son suggested my sister-in-law and useless boyfriend move in. He would move out February 1st, but pay for February and March. They would pick up the rent in April. This would give them 2 more months to get their finances in order, and he'd only be out 2 months' rent. And as an added bonus, it's closer to sister-in-law's job and would cut 10 minutes off her daily commute. Everybody's happy, right? Well, everybody except useless boyfriend, that is. Looking at the apartment, he complained it was too small. He complained that they'd have to pay for food and utilities. You know, the things he enjoys for free because my wife and I are paying now. He complained he'd have to set up his computer in the living room instead of the bedroom. Then he dropped this little nugget. With utilities, it's going to be higher. You should pay all our rent. We're doing you a favor. My son assumed he misheard him and restated his offer. He'd pay for February and March. They'd assume payments in April. Nope. Not good enough. To useless boyfriend's way of thinking, our son should pay their rent for the remainder of the lease, 10 months, and let them live there rent-free. My sister-in-law was mortified at her useless boyfriend for trying to take advantage of our son, her nephew that way. After months and months of listening to him complain about his suffering while others paid for everything, she finally had enough. Useless boyfriend, I like this place, so I'm moving in. But you're not. When we get home, you're packing your stuff and I'm driving you to your mother's. No more free rides. We're done. Our son called with the happy news on multiple fronts while they drove home. Instead of 30 minutes, they took an hour to get home and we were a little concerned. We called and she confirmed everything was okay. So we assembled the moving boxes for him so he could start packing right away. Why postpone the party? He walked in the door to find everything he needed to pack up. Apparently on the ride back, useless boyfriend was whining and complaining about their breakup. They stopped to talk for a bit, at which point he said something, sister-in-law won't say what, that creeped her out, and she asked me to drive him to his mother's, which I was more than pleased to do. We drove about an hour to his mother's place without speaking. I helped him carry his stuff to the porch. Out of politeness, I extended him my hand and wished him luck. He stared at me and didn't say a word. There was no, "Thanks for letting me live with you for free for almost a year," or "Tell sister-in-law I'm sorry." He just stared like the petulant child he is. My sister-in-law is doing really well. We're going to miss her moving away, and especially our son moving quite a distance away. But useless boyfriend? We'll miss him about as much as we will miss last week's recycling. At least the recycling can be turned into something useful. Here's my update. It was a busy weekend. On Saturday, we helped our son pack and move out to pursue his future. Not going to lie, it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Huge, uncontrollable sobs from my wife as he pulled away. We gave him the 2 months' rent so he doesn't have to eat that expense. We realized we had completely forgotten about the security deposit. Landlord did a quick walkthrough and cut him a check in full on the spot. We gave him a check on sister-in-law's behalf, so everything is now completely in her name. On Sunday, we helped my sister-in-law move in. More sobbing from my wife, who has really grown to love having her sister living with us. It was made better by them scheduling all the who visits who when for the week. Sister-in-law has put useless boyfriend in the rearview mirror. Useless boyfriend did call her to apologize and try to make things better. I didn't hear the conversation, but he apparently said all the wrong things because she was only madder by the time she hung up on him. He hasn't called or texted her since. One key difference, having had a front row seat for her past breakups, there was no second guessing this time. She seems sure this is the right move for her. I think this will stick. Thanks everyone for the kind words. In story number 2, apparently if a choosing beggar is an expert, he's gotta get a deal. I had this fruit bowl from a cultural festival put on eBay for a couple of months now. Fair price, up for negotiation. I put all the info, size, color, etc. online, and I do photography, so of course I try to put my items in the best light possible. You could see all the details, true color, and so on. Choosing Beggar messages me in early December, asks a few questions, we come to an agreement soon, and she asks for my address. Tells me the day of pickup she can't make it, but is still very interested. No problem, it's still online, but first come, first serve. 2020 passes and she calls me up to make an appointment because she wants the bowl. Bad weather conditions sadly cancel our plans. It's too slippery to drive from another town to mine. Sure, no problem. Today she calls me to say that she is on the way and can be there by 12:30. It's cool. I'm in my home office, but I made up my mind to block her after today if she doesn't show up. She arrives and calls for me to come downstairs. I bring the bowl. Nobody's in front of my house. I call her. "We are sitting in the car at the road. Bring it here." Nope. I'm in shorts, full home office mode. You want it, you come to the entrance. Choosing Beggar shows up with another dude. Here we finally are. She takes the bowl from my hand and starts placing it on the ground several times. I'm confused. This is not clay. It's glazed, but this is wood, right? This sounds like wood. Ma'am, this is clay. It is a handmade glazed bowl from the culture market with certified sellers. Choosing Beggar keeps upping and downing the flipping bowl as if the floor was going to prove something. Choosing Beggar's friend says, "Hi, I'm Moroccan." Okay. This must be wood. She lets the bowl sit on the ground, starts walking circles in front of my house. Choosing Beggar friend says, "We were really expecting something else." There is a detailed description on the site and I took pictures from every angle. Also, I pick up the bowl and flip it over, exposing the unglazed material at the base of the bowl. This is clay. It is glazed and burned clay. Choosing Beggar stops pacing around to come look at the bowl. Okay, but this sounds like wood. Have you been to Morocco? Because I have been to Morocco, and this is not what I was expecting. Then I recommend a specialty shop the next time, not secondhand goods on eBay. This is not what I was expecting. What are we gonna do? Not what I was expecting. I drove one town over to you, so what's happening now? I assume she wanted me to be apologetic that a second-hand item was not up to her expectations after seeing detailed photos of the bowl and asking questions. She was putting it on me to offer a bargain price. I was willing to bargain, but this was just a waste of my time. I guess that's it then. I closed the entrance and went into the basement to put the bowl back. I don't understand how people have the time to drive 2 times to my city to waste my time like that. But I am glad she wasted gas, so it was not a total loss for me. This is John from /bash. Please hit that like button to help with the almighty YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you are new. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.